This is Fox and Friends talking about Hunter Biden laptop stuff. By the way, there is no Hunter Biden laptop. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Feel free to at me. Hunter Biden has had laptops in his life. The one that supposedly ended up at that repair shop and that supposedly Rudy Giuliani has a copy of the hard drive. No, that doesn't exist. That's bullshit. It's a story. It's nonsense. Fuck off. And I mean, let's start with the idea that there's 460 gigabytes of information on the laptop hard drive that he's been selling to everybody that's called laptop, and the fact that the model of laptop that it supposedly came from only had 256 gigabytes as a max hard drive space. And even the guy who says he extracted it says he didn't get all of it. It was a minor part. So it wouldn't even be max 256. It'd be like close to 125 gigs. And even then, like, this is so stupid. All right. Anyways, let's see what the Hunter. It's a revelation, though. Guys, it's a revelation. All right. Therein things shall be revealed. This is basically the Bible, okay?
The other big story is this laptop story. I know what you're saying.
It's a huge story.
It's not going away because we're getting more.
No, it's not. We're not. I mean, what's going away? That the flower pot they usually have here to try and give the woman that sits in the middle who's wearing a short skirt at least the illusion of some sort of cover.
Details about it. You always said to yourself, why did those 51 people sign off and say it's classic Russian disinformation?
Because it was.
And what role did it play in the debate? A huge role.
Huge.
At one point, when Donald Trump in that big debate turned around and said, look at what you guys were involved with this laptop, and the president looked into the camera and said, this is 51 intel experts, including 2 CIA directors, said this is classic example of Russian disinformation.
Yeah.
He looked at you, the American people, and he lied. And
no.
Guess what gave him the fortification to lie? Michael Morrell, the former deputy CIA director and temporary acting director, rounded up on the behest of our Secretary of State, it's alleged, now Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, 51 intel experts. Here's one. They reached out to John Brennan, and he said,
This is a real email. I mean, do you need metadata? I don't. Don't all your emails look like that? I'm sure that's all it said.
Yes. We want to give the VP a talking point to use in response.
Right. Because they believed a response was warranted. You haven't proved your case yet. Try harder.
That is about the debate. When John Brennan asked previously, why are you, what is this about? He said, we want you to sign off on a letter saying this is Russian disinformation. And it neutralized President Trump's talking point.
Because it was.
I think this is important for several reasons.
And
all right, I'll take one.
John Brennan said yes.
This wasn't a matter.
Yes, because John Brennan agreed that it was.
Of people being confused or anything like that. This was more nefarious. They knew it was a lie. They knew the laptop was real.
No, they didn't. No, the laptop is not real.
And they said, let's get all these people together. These people didn't even verify
so
the
Trump
information.
loses.
So
Mike
Trump
Morrell
loses.
What information?
So Trump loses.
Because he needs
Yeah, well, honestly, Trump was going to lose because he's a loser. This was not going to solve the problem for them.
a talking point. That was all choreographed. You know, Joe Biden can't remember anything. This was used.
He remembered exactly how many uncapped wells we had in the country. Meanwhile, Trump was, what was he talking about?
Undersea Second Amendment.
The Undersea's Second Amendment. That's right.
De-engineering.
That's right.
When they gaze upon Yosemites,
Right, and his poll numbers.
the numbers should skyrocket downward.
Action
replays in magnified fashion.
Sure.
To usurp the American voters because they knew
Usurp the American voters.
it would impact the election. I mean, this is unbelievable.
It's election interference.
And
Oh my God! It is our October surprise was ass, and they owe us.
media covered for him.
Of course, the media covered for him, and this absolutely did. There's plenty of polling that shows that 14% of Americans would have voted differently, either not voted or voted for Donald Trump had they known
that Hunter Biden smoked cigarettes in a
about
bathtub,
the laptop or known that it was true. And this was
or believed that it was true. Also not true.
This wasn't just the intel. This wasn't just the media. We had big tech involved in too. This was a highly coordinated. That's right. This was a highly coordinated.
Totally highly coordinated. People were. It was like a finely tuned. There was a thing where they.
It's a back door, but I call it a smart door.
Well, that's your opinion, I suppose.
To suppress this information.
Terrible. The whole.
Here I
and
am
then,
like an idiot.
You know what I mean?
And very important information, because this is more than just, someone trying to get rich. We've seen corruption before.
Yeah, but enough about Jared and Ivanka and Don Jr. and Eric and Don Sr.
It's certainly third world level. This is the kind of stuff you see in Latin America.
Oh, shit. Sorry, Latin America. Apparently you guys are dirtbags.
But this is greater than this, because...
Oh, it's way better. First of all, the food is really boring in Delaware,
this
comparatively.
Involved China. This involved Russia. This involved Ukraine.
Romania.
And Romania. Those
and Romania.
The three that I mentioned first. The
Moscow mayor, that's in there, who obviously turned her husband in for corruption and then was trying to, she invested some money and became rich. And I guess it was a good investment to give her money to Hunter's company, because she made a lot of money on those investments. They invested it properly for her, and she got a good return.
These are America's enemy, and with Joe Biden elected, that means he's compromised. And
he's totally compromised. That's why he's doing whatever Russia wants and not helping Ukraine, and why he's doing whatever China wants and refused. He vetoed the CHIPS Act and didn't do the AUKUS agreement, and also didn't reignite the Quad, and didn't raise the standards for Made in America so that they couldn't use Chinese suppliers.
Policies would be affected. Here's John Solomon talking about.
John Solomon. At least we're going to a steady, logical voice.
This letter that was signed.
The letter.
By these.
This letter. If this letter hadn't come out, everybody would have voted for Trump. He was doing great. The pandemic was basically over.
So-called intelligence officials.
Oh, damn. Zing.
CIA Directors Club is an exclusive small club. People that this country trusted to run our entire intelligence apparatus. They derive their credibility from the American people for the trust that we placed in them. We, the American taxpayers, gave them the responsibility of running the most powerful spy agency in the world. And they took those bona fides and they took those credentials. This letter shows, this email between two CIA directors, to try to create a political outcome in an election and then portray.
Well, no, they were concerned about the Russian impact on our election. Genuinely. That was an obvious, and they would consider it an existential threat to our democracy. They didn't make it up. They believed he needed a response to it because they knew it was true.
It as an organic intelligence warning. 51 people who carried the power of the United States Intelligence Committee signed on to that and admitted that that's what they truly believed and said it to the entire world. And meanwhile, Trump and 9 other people around him were going, nuh-uh. And I don't know why people chose to listen to the other side. This letter without an iota or shred of evidence that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation or a...
No, there's a ton of information about that, especially Rudy Giuliani's trip to Ukraine in the region, meeting with Russians that were there and meeting with Russians in Italy, I believe it was. And those people had been talking about shopping a bunch of compromat on Hunter Biden from hacked materials from a phone and from the Burisma servers there. And that conversation had been floating around, and the word was they were going to buy it for, they were selling it for $3 million and Rudy spent $5 million.
Russian information operation, so that Joe Biden could have that moment to lie to the American people that there was no there in the Hunter Biden scandal.
Right, there isn't.
All of this is going on, right? All this information is being revealed. And every time we see the president, we see Hunter Biden. I mean, I know it's his son and all that, but it's like he's taunting the American people. It's like, I can get away with it. I got away with it.
And guess what?
He's like, if that was Don Jr., he'd be in Gitmo. Oh, wait, he did sign a bunch of papers that he had to... Oh, and Eric had to plead the fifth 400 times. recently.
There's some tension now between the White House, according to Axios, and Hunter Biden's camp because they dumped his lawyer and got the very aggressive Abby Lowell. And the White House says, you're making too big a deal of this. You're hurting us now with your case. You're trumpeting it up. You're being too aggressive.
You're going after the people who are lying about you too hard. And you're going to win, and it's drawing attention to shit. Yeah.
With this attorney. So there's tension now between the Biden camp and the Biden White House and the Hunter trial.
And if this carries on, Hunter's going to run into Don Jr. and almost basically kind of understand what Don Jr. has felt his whole life. Nah, it never happened.
Which is, it didn't make any sense. I mean, who advised him to take on this, to challenge his
something? I don't know, saying the thing of thing.
His child.
What's it with they?
Child support payoffs. Who told him to be this aggressive after the laptop owner? He said, well, it's not my, he never admitted it's his laptop, but Abby Lowell goes in the face and says, hey, stop telling everyone, I'm going to sue you for releasing information from the laptop, which he never admitted was his. So that's...
No, because you're disseminating hacked material. The existence of the laptop versus the existence of the hard drive and the idea that you have a copy of personal information, whether they're real or deep fakes or a combination of both, disseminating those things is not, how you got it is not material. It is not your material, and therefore you cannot disseminate it, especially when it comes to fucking nudes of someone.
That's ticking off the White House.
When you see our intelligence...
Yeah, they're livid, you can tell.
Intelligence agencies being weaponized and...
Oh, they are. And can you imagine that? Imagine if, like, MI6 was weaponized at some point and, like, they had people who wore tuxedos and had a license to... It'd be terrible.
And that they can lie. They can coordinate and lie on this level. We've talked about it often.
Yeah, and Trump is terrible at it. It's like he can't even lie well, and they're so good at it. It's amazing. It's almost like Trump's a complete failure at the thing he's been doing most of his life, which is bullshitting. And at the same time, no matter what the Biden say, we have to say it's bullshit, even when we know it's not. It's so terrible.
Camera, it affects the way we interpret anything that comes out of our government, whether it's information about the Ukraine war or anything else. As far
yeah, so you don't trust information about the Ukraine war because you think Hunter Biden got $1 billion from China and snorted it.
As far as I'm concerned, you add Russia collusion, this coordinated effort. I don't believe anything coming out of our intelligence agency has absolutely destroyed their credibility with everyday people, and I think that's dangerous for our country.
And just to put a bow on this...
Yeah, wrap it up for us, because it's not enough that she's basically saying that anybody who has lost their life, who works for the CIA in the last 2 years especially, did it for nothing, according to this lady, because it's basically just a farce. It's a shell.
Some of these people are still signed as analysts for media stations. They should all be suspended.
Media stations? What's a media station? Do you have to... Is it like a kiosk or?
I mean, think about who would
should be ashamed.
Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, and Andy McCabe. Who would ever sign them for credibility? They all got caught lying, and John Brennan still appears on these networks.
No, they didn't get caught lying. They got caught shit-talking Trump.
Networks. That's the clown that signed off on this without even looking at it.
Good for the Republicans for bringing John Brennan in to testify, which he will do, I think, next week.
Let's see what he's going to lie about. It's just kind of scary that the president's that comfortable lying.
Yeah, just.
It's, oh my God, that statement. Say that again, that the president, listen to this shit. Holy hell.
Let's see what he's going to lie about. It's just kind of scary that the president's that comfortable lying.
Yeah.
It's just kind of scary that the president is that comfortable lying. Good fucking Lord.
Just lie.
Just fucking, all we have to do. The job is so easy here. All we got to do is say shit normal people would say about Trump, but pretend it's Biden. What the hell?
He knows it was his son's laptop. He knows all the stuff was authentic. He looked into the camera and he said Russian disinformation.
He's the big
It is Russian disinformation. There is no laptop. Fuck you.
Guy.
What else is he lying
10%.
about?
What else is he lying about? He's probably lying about the jobs numbers. He's probably lying about unemployment right now. He's probably lying about the stock market. I wouldn't believe any of it. Good Lord. I'm Steve. They just ended it that way. Whatever.